This is the Daytona International Speedway in Daytona Beach, Florida, where today you're going to see the 6th annual Firecracker late model stock car race. 400 miles on this world-famous 2.5-mile tri-oval. The crowds have gathered from far and wide to see their favorite sport, stock car racing. And it should be an exciting day of racing as all of the top greats of the stock car world have gathered to compete. We have Richard Petty, who won the Daytona 500 in February. Other greats like A.J. Foyt, two-time Indianapolis Speedway winner, Junior Johnson, Ned Jarrett, Marvin Panch, and many others. The speeds are zooming up. The unofficial practice speeds were over 178 miles an hour, and it appears that last year's Firecracker record of 150.8 set by the late Fireball Roberts is almost certain to fall. Hello, everybody. I'm Charlie Brockman, speaking to you from atop the main grandstand, where I'll be situated at the starting line to report the action for you. And we're looking forward to a tremendous race. The temperatures have soared to near 90 and on this hot and humid Florida morning. And that will be an added hazard and discomfort to the drivers. Standing by in the pit area to report on the important pit stops is the editor of the National Speed Sport News, Chris Economaki.
That's right, Charlie. It is hot. Very hot down here in the pit. So hot, in fact, that the leading drivers have insulated their windshields to keep their cars from getting like an oven inside, which they will when the race gets underway. It's so hot, in fact, that one of the drivers has a cool suit. A suit that was designed by the Space Administration for astronauts when they go to the moon, to withstand temperatures of up to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. It's mesh underwear with some 300 feet of plastic tubing in it in which ice water flows with a control valve. We'll tell you more about that later. It's going to be 160 laps around this high bank 2.5-mile tri-oval speedway, and there's going to be lots of stopping at the pits for refueling and repairs and tire changes. And we'll be here to bring you that story when it happens.
Okay, Chris, and there are the cars lined up ready for the start of this race. They've had no running time today, so they won't know whether they're functioning properly until that pace lap begins. We've had a lot of rain here at Daytona, and here's a spectator that's in a bit of a jam, or perhaps he's using this situation to cool off in these 90-degree temperatures. Speaking of cooling off, Chris Economaki has some word about how a driver is going to solve that problem.
This is Bobby Isaac's Dodge. The car is unique in that it is equipped to cool the driver. There's a thermometer mounted on one of the roll bars. The reading right now before the race gets underway, 120 degrees. Immediately behind it is an ice chest, the kind that you'd take on a picnic. Nothing in it but ice. Winding through that ice is plastic tubing containing some water, about as much as it would be contained in a thermos jug. These tubes are connected to fittings on the dashboard. When Isaac gets in the car, he'll plug his cool suit into the dashboard, has a turn valve near his left hand where he controls the degree of cold water flowing through his suit. The suit has 300 feet of plastic tubing wound around his body, and it is with this system that he will keep his temperature down. This is important because the drivers have to wear flame-proof coveralls. They've been dipped in a flame retardant solution to protect them in the event of fire, and this does not let their bodies breathe.
Well, we'll see how it works out, and we certainly hope that he keeps cool. You'll notice a couple of familiar names missing from the starting lineup, and the reason is that they were eliminated in a 50-mile qualifying race held earlier. And we're going to take a look at some of the pictures of this qualifying race, and we'll see just why Paul Goldsmith and Freddie Lorenzen are not in the event today. There is Goldsmith losing it, and Darrell Derringer running second gets by. Goldsmith slides to the inside. You see Lorenzen coming through there and banging Goldsmith. Buck Baker losing control. And just take a look at Lorenzen's car. It's easy to know why it is not ready for today's race. Goldsmith's car also is very badly battered and could not be repaired in time for today's race. Goldsmith was not injured, and he's standing by for possible relief driving chores. Lorenzen, however, was injured. He suffered a severed tendon in his left wrist and required an operation. The race was won by Richard Petty, and following the race, Chris Economaki talked to him.
Over these speeds, do you think that it's going to be pretty tough in the 400?
Well, I hope it's not near as tough as it was today as far as accidents go, but it'd have been a lot better race if they hadn't had that accident, I'll tell you, because I had a long way to go to catch up.
In addition to Richard Petty, some of the other top drivers include Billy Wade of Catawba, South Carolina. He's currently the third-ranked driver in the NASCAR circuit. And here's Bobby Isaac, the man we were talking about earlier. He's driving with that cool suit today and is driving a 64 Dodge. Johnny Rutherford of Fort Worth, Texas, who will be driving a 64 Ford today. Darrell Derringer of Charlotte, North Carolina in a 64 Mercury. He barely escaped trouble in the accident in that qualifying race. Here's two-time Indianapolis winner A.J. Foyt trying to score the first USAC victory in a stock car race here at Daytona Beach. And one of the very promising drivers on the NASCAR circuit, Leroy Yarbrough from Jacksonville, Florida, driving a 64 Dodge. Now the drivers are getting into their cars and the pace lap is about ready to begin. Now the cars are pulling away on the pace lap. They'll be led by Darrell Derringer of Charlotte, North Carolina in a 64 Mercury and Jim Paschal of High Point, North Carolina in a 64 Plymouth. In the second row, Richard Petty of Randleman, North Carolina in a 64 Plymouth and Bobby Isaac of Catawba, North Carolina in a 64 Dodge. Buck Baker and Billy Wade are in the third row, and A.J. Foyt is starting back in 19th position, so he's got a long ways to go. Coming now to the starting line, this race will be underway very shortly. The pace car pulls off the track. Darrell Derringer leading the pack. Moving down to the starting line, the green flag is out and the race is on. Darrell Derringer takes the lead with Richard Petty right behind him in second place, and Jim Paschal is running third as they go into the first turn. Reb Wickersham spins off the track, but the other cars got by. He's driving car number 2. Boy, that was close. Darrell Derringer moving down the backstretch in the lead as Richard Petty moving up in car number 43. And Petty goes by on the outside. He takes the lead. So it's Richard Petty of Randleman, North Carolina in first place on the first lap of this 400-mile race, 160 laps around the 2.5-mile track. Petty turned speeds unofficially in practice better than 178 miles an hour. Darrell Derringer now running second, and some real battling going on for positions back in the pack. There's Buck Baker moving up on Jim Paschal to take over third place. Baker's driving car number 3, and now Paschal is running fourth. With Darrell Derringer second, Baker third, and Bobby Isaac moving up through the field. A.J. Foyt has gained some positions. There's number 49, the first car out of the race. That was being driven by Doug Moore. He's definitely out. Richard Petty continuing to lead, and he's got a good margin. But there's a real struggle going on for second place. Buck Baker has just moved into third, and he is challenging for second. Let's see if he can take Darrell Derringer. Baker closing in on Derringer, and he's got him. Buck Baker has passed Darrell Derringer for second place. Derringer is third, and Bobby Isaac has now moved into fourth place and closes in on Derringer. He moved through the turn, heading for the backstretch. This has been a real battle for second, third, and fourth right here at the start, although Richard Petty has a good margin out in first place. Isaac moving up. And it looks like we're going to have a real struggle here at Daytona Beach this afternoon with Bobby Isaac moving into third, and we'll have more from the Daytona 400. We're in the early stages of the Daytona Firecracker 400 stock car race, and the leader is Richard Petty of Randleman, North Carolina in car number 43. In second place, it's Bobby Isaac, but he's being challenged and passed by Buck Baker in car number 3. Buck Baker has taken over second place. Bobby Isaac in third, now being passed by Jim Paschal in car number 41. So it's Baker running second, Paschal is third, and Isaac is falling all the way back. Petty has a reasonable margin in first place. He's been turning laps at 173 and better, but there is a real struggle going on for second through sixth positions. And there's Leroy Yarbrough moving up in car number 03. He's a teammate to Buck Baker. And Baker drives number 3, Yarbrough number 03. Yarbrough, one of the real promising drivers on the Grand National Circuit. He is passing Paschal and moving into third place. And so now the teammates are second and third, with Yarbrough running in third position now. Before the race, Chris Economaki talked to Leroy.
How do you feel about your chances in the 400 today?
Well, I feel very good about them. My car is running, I think, better than it's ever run, and it's handling real well, so we'll know after 400 miles.
Who do you think your principal opposition will be?
I don't know. There's about 15 of those guys right here. You could, potential winners. I don't know. Richard Petty's running awful strong, and so is Derringer and the Mercury, and then we got the Buck, my teammate, and both the Dodges. All the Dodges are running good.
Well, I'd say the Dodgers are running good. There you see two of them, one being driven by Buck Baker, the other by Leroy Yarbrough. Richard Petty is leading this race, driving a 64 Plymouth. But Baker and Yarbrough, teammates, are having a real battle for second place, with Jim Paschal right behind them in car number 41. Now they're beginning to lap some slower cars, and that makes the struggle even more interesting. Baker on the inside, Yarbrough on the outside, and Paschal right behind. Yarbrough edges ahead of Baker. Now let's see if Paschal can get in behind Yarbrough. He is. He's on the high side and is passing Buck Baker. So it's now Yarbrough, Paschal, and Baker, with Darrell Derringer behind Baker. Remember now that Richard Petty is the leader, but he has a margin of several hundred feet. We're showing you this battle for second through fifth position because it's a honey right now. In the early stages of this race, Darrell Derringer got by Baker there. Moving around the number 4 turn, coming toward the starting line. Right now it's Leroy Yarbrough in second place, being followed by Jim Paschal in car number 41. Now A.J. Foyt started in 19th position. He's beginning to move up through the field. He's now up to 8th. So Foyt had a long way to go, and he is really moving. There he is in number 47. Foyt trying to score a USAC victory in this NASCAR race, challenging all of the fine NASCAR stock car drivers. He started 19th because he was involved in that qualifying race accident and got a very poor starting position, but he is up to 8th now and is closing in on the leaders. Meanwhile, the race for second place continues as Buck Baker, Leroy Yarbrough, and Jim Paschal have been trading positions. As they come around the turn, you can see Yarbrough is still just inches ahead of Jim Paschal in car number 41. Now here is Paschal moving to the high side, challenging for second place. As they move down to the number 1 turn, and Paschal takes over second place in car number 41. Now Darrell Derringer coming in for a stop. We're nearing the 100-mile mark, and the cars are going to be stopping very rapidly now. Derringer has driven a fine race. He's been in the top 5 all the way in car number 16, this 1964 Mercury. Notice the mechanics going to work, jacking up that car, changing tires, and refueling. Derringer, the first of the leaders to make his stop. Checking things over, fastening the hood, the car down off the jacks, and Derringer is back into the race. This will cost him some positions. Now Yarbrough comes in car number 3, and they'll do the same thing for him. There's some trouble on the racetrack. Looks like that car's blowing an engine. And he is spattering some oil on the track and parts, and the caution flag comes out. That was Ned Jarrett in car number 11, going out of the race with a blown engine because of the parts on the track. They are waving the caution flag. This means that all the other boys will be stopping, and Derringer and Yarbrough will lose some ground because they stopped on the green. Well, they'll make their pit stops, and the action will be getting underway very shortly, and we'll be back with a report from the Daytona 400. The first round of pit stops are over in the Daytona Firecracker 400 stock car race, and Richard Petty is still the leader, and he's averaging 159.928 miles per hour. That's about 9 miles an hour faster than last year's record. Meanwhile, in the shuffle, due to the pit stops, A.J. Foyt is now running second in car number 47, being followed by Bobby Isaac in car number 26, and you're looking at them now. Then it's Jim Paschal in car number 41 and Buck Baker in car number 3. Foyt had to really work his way up from 19th position, and before the race, he knew that was going to be a problem, and he explained it to Chris Economaki.
Now, you had a little skirmish in the qualifying race, and you're deep in the pack. How do you plan to get up front? As fast as you can, or are you going to take it easy? Well, no, Chris, I'll try to get up in front and hope to hook onto their draft where they get away, but it'll be real hard to do. You think that this traffic may put you back when the checkered flag rolls, or? Yes, it possibly could, because the front cars, when they hook up and leave, it's almost impossible to catch them.
Well, it may be impossible to catch them, but A.J. Foyt has done just that. He's now running in second position with Bobby Isaac in third in car number 26. And those two cars are running right together. They're the first two cars in your picture, being followed by Jim Paschal in number 41. And there's Isaac passing Foyt. Paschal also on the inside route, moving up on Foyt. They do a lot of what they call drafting here at Daytona. A stock car displaces a lot of air, and moving at the tremendous speeds that they're going, a vacuum is created behind the car, so the cars running behind to get an assist. And that's the way they make their passes. Bobby Isaac now running in second position, with Jim Paschal in third spot ahead of A.J. Foyt. Isaac, remember, is the man wearing the cool suit. The temperatures are very high here at Daytona. They're above 90 degrees, but we hope that Isaac is comfortable with that air-conditioned driving suit. The rest of the boys are having to struggle along with the old-fashioned driving uniform. There is Lee Petty, who won the very first stock car race here at Daytona in 1959 at an average speed of 135.5, and his son Richard is now leading this Daytona 400. Oddly enough, his son won 5 years after Lee started and won at an average speed of better than 19 miles an hour. Now we're going to get an interval between Richard Petty and the second place car, Bobby Isaac. We saw Petty, and now here's Isaac, and the difference is 9 1/10 seconds. So Isaac is running approximately a fifth of a lap behind Richard Petty in car number 43. That's a 1964 Plymouth. Leroy Yarborough coming in for another pit stop. These boys expect to stop about every 100 miles for a change of tires and gasoline. Pit work can be very important as this race is run at such a tremendous speed that time lost in the pits is very, very costly. Richard Petty of Randleman, North Carolina, trying to score his second victory here this year at Daytona. He won the 500 in February, and we're going to get another check to see whether he's pulling away from Isaac. Remember, last time he was leading by 9 1/10 seconds. And here's Isaac moving toward the starting line, 9 7/10 seconds, so Petty is pulling away from Isaac very slightly, but nevertheless pulling away. Petty turned a lap just a moment ago, according to the official statistics, at better than 174 miles an hour. And we'll be back with more of the Daytona 400 stock car race. We've passed the halfway point in the Daytona Firecracker 400 stock car race, and the story today has been Richard Petty of Randleman, North Carolina, driving a 1964 Plymouth as he has led all but the first half lap. Right now, Bobby Isaac in car number 26, a 64 Dodge, is running second. They've made their second pit stops, and A.J. Foyt is third, but he lost some ground on that last round of pit stops. Let's find out how they stand. We caught the time when Isaac passed the starting line, and there's Foyt, the outside car in the back of this pack. He's quite some distance to make up. He got up as high as second from his 19th starting position, and right now he's 19 7/10 seconds behind Isaac, who is running second. We'd like to remind you again that we're going to have coverage from St. Andrews, Scotland on the British Open Golf Tournament, and that'll be coming up shortly with Jim McKay. Meanwhile, A.J. Foyt tries to gain on Bobby Isaac, who is running second, and Paul Goldsmith is now fourth. He's driving car number 41 in relief for Jim Paschal. There's Darrell Derringer in car number 16. He's been running in the top 5 or 6 all afternoon, and he apparently is out of the race. Moving down the backstretch, Isaac is battling with Buck Baker, but Baker's now a lap behind after the pit stops. Baker in car number 3, and Jimmy Pardue there in car number 54, also a lap behind. Moving through the turn, there's a car losing control. He spins down to the inside, hits the inside wall, bounces in the air, flips over, and comes up on his wheels. That's car number 95, and that car is being driven by Kenny Spikes of Cordell, Georgia. Spikes, who has been on the stock car trail for just a few years now, sings in a choir back at his home in Georgia. That car is really battered. We can see Spikes moving around inside, so apparently he's not seriously injured, but the car is definitely out of the race. The safety crew moving up. That's the fire truck. Fire is always a hazard on one of these types of accidents. They're going to take some precautionary measures here and spray it with some CO2. There is no fire at the moment, but they're taking no chances. Now we are nearing the point when the boys were scheduled to make their pit stop, so perhaps with the caution flag out, we will have some stops. They're still spraying that car. It's smoking, but I don't believe there's any fire. There's the caution flag. Drivers slowing down for this accident, and probably several of them will take advantage of this slowdown to make some pit stops. Bobby Isaac in the pit. Also Lee Petty coming in. And Petty's not stopping in his own pit. He's up at the head of the pit area, and he's getting out of his car. He must be in serious trouble. Well, Richard Petty, who has led this entire automobile race so far, is out of his car and stepping over the pit wall and apparently is out of the race. That changes the complexion completely. That'll put Bobby Isaac into first place with A.J. Foyt now second. Foyt is also coming in as all of the cars are taking advantage of this slowdown time to get in and get some gasoline. They're going to be very, very close to the point where they might have to make another stop before the race is over. It's a real gamble right now, as these boys do not want to make another stop, but they can't pass up this opportunity on the caution flag of coming in, and so they're going to fill them up and hope that they can go all the way. Well, I see Chris Economaki has lined up Richard Petty. Let's find out what happened.
Boy, you drove a great race. What happened down there?
I lost all the oil pressure. I think I must have burned a bearing on the thing.
Burned a bearing on the engine.
Yeah.
Well, you certainly had it won. How was the conditions in the car?
Pretty dead gum hot.
Richard Petty out of it with an oil pressure loss in Plymouth number 43. And back to you, Charlie Brockman.
Richard Petty said it was pretty hot out on that racetrack, and we are going to have some hot competition now for first place. Bobby Isaac in car number 26 and A.J. Foyt in car number 47 are first and second, and after those pit stops, they're right together. So Foyt, who started 19th, is now running second. He was 19 seconds plus behind a short while ago, and now he's right behind Isaac after the pit stop. So this should be a real battle royal in these last 100 miles here at Daytona Beach. They're restarting the race, the green flag out, and the pace picks up with Bobby Isaac in first place. A.J. Foyt is running second. Jimmy Pardue is third. And they're followed by Paul Goldsmith in car number 41 and Buck Baker in car number 3. And Isaac is leading number 41. That's Paul Goldsmith, who relieved for Jim Pascal, but he is a lap behind. Well, we'll be back with more from Daytona, and we have a real battle for first place between Bobby Isaac of Catawba, South Carolina. There's a spin out in the number 1 turn. That's car number 10, being driven by Larry Thomas. He was the 12th ranked driver on the NASCAR circuit this year. He's from Trinity, North Carolina, and he has just spun out in the number 1 turn and hit the wall. The caution flag out once again, slowing these drivers down. We were about to say that Bobby Isaac is the leader, with A.J. Foyt running second. Jimmy Pardue is third. And there we can see Thomas getting out of the car. Well, after this caution flag is over, we're going to have a real struggle for first place, and we'll be back with more from the Daytona 400. Daytona Beach, Florida, the Daytona International Speedway, and we have one of the real classic races shaping up. The boys have made their last pit stops, and Bobby Isaac in car number 26 and A.J. Foyt in number 47 are running almost wheel to wheel with a little over 100 miles to go. We see that Foyt in number 47 right now is behind car number 41. That's being driven by Paul Goldsmith, and car number 3 being driven by Buck Baker. They're actually a lap behind Foyt. So Foyt is running second with Bobby Isaacs the leader, and Jimmy Pardue in car number 54 is running in third position. Now Baker and Goldsmith and Pardue are having a scrap for third place. So with the battle for the lead, we also have as a side issue right in there with them a battle for third, fourth, and fifth. With Isaac in number 26 the leader. He's driving a 1964 Dodge, as is A.J. Foyt. Goldsmith is in a Plymouth, and Buck Baker is in a Dodge. So this is one of the real fine races of all time. Now, they came very close to that 100-mile mark, for their last pit stop, and the big question could be, can they go all the way on fuel? Let's go down to the pit and Chris Economaki and find out for sure.
Well, here's Ray Nichols, the team manager of not only the first place, but the first and second place cars. Ray Nichols. Ray, when A.J. Foyt stopped, there was exactly 100 miles left in the race. Will he finish on the gas you gave him?
Yes, Chris, we're going to try and go all the way.
Will he have to baby it a little, or can he go all out?
No, I think he can go all out. The speeds they're running, they've taken about 3 miles.
How about Bobby Isaac? Have you instructed him to hold his position?
No, they're racing.
Word from Ray Nichols' pit. Both of his boys out there and racing, looking for a 1-2 sweep for the Dodgers.
Well, they certainly are racing. With 3/4 of the race gone, they're still just within car lengths. Bobby Isaac in car number 26 and A.J. Foyt in car number 47, and a secondary battle for second, third, and fourth positions shaping up there between the other 3 cars. They're a lap behind. Incidentally, caution flag is out. We've had a report of some oil on the track, so this will require the cars to slow down. Well, incidentally, just before that caution flag, Pardue got by Goldsmith and Buck Baker, and now he will be permitted to move up because he is on the same lap with the leaders. Under NASCAR rules, you may not pass a car under the caution flag, but you may move up right behind them, and so Pardue is really moving down that backstretch. He's running third, and he's now on the same lap with the leader, Bobby Isaac. There are Isaac and Foyt, and they're running slowly, but Pardue is motoring. Now the green flag is out. Isaac in number 26 continues to lead, with Foyt second. Pardue is third. Goldsmith in number 41 is fourth, and Buck Baker number 3 is fifth. We're going to have a real battle right down to the wire, and a lot of racing left. Bobby Isaac is the man driving with the cool suit. And we certainly hope that it's working because it's a very, very hot day. So hot, in fact, that Jim Paschal had to relinquish his seat to Paul Goldsmith. We'll have a thrilling climax of this race coming up in the last 100 miles in a short while here at the Daytona 400. We continue with the Daytona 400 stock car race, and look at this battle for first place. A.J. Foyt has just taken first from Bobby Isaac. Foyt is driving car number 47, Isaac at number 26. Their teammates both running for Ray Nichols, 1964 Dodges. And 2 other cars also struggling for a position. Number 41, Paul Goldsmith, driving relief for Jim Paschal, and number 3, Buck Baker. They're running in 4th and 5th positions. But right now it's A.J. Foyt, the man of the hour. He started 19th, and he and Isaac have really been scrapping for that first position. Isaac moves by Goldsmith and can move up to challenge Foyt once again. This matter of drafting becomes a factor because as they're running behind a car, they get a boost, and that enables them to move up and pass, and they've been swapping positions back and forth. Here's Isaac moving up on Foyt once again. Foyt holds that margin as they cross the starting line and head into the number 1 turn. Isaac still struggling as they come out on toward the backstretch. They usually do their passing on the backstretch, and you notice that the last time Foyt went inside. Now let's see if Isaac tries the same thing. Isaac moving on the inside, and he is passing Foyt, so Bobby Isaac is back in first place once again, with Foyt running second. And this is one of the real classic battles here at Daytona Beach, as they have been running now over 300 miles. They've still got a lot of racing to go, but that's the story right now. We're going to be back at Daytona. Back here at Daytona Beach, Florida, where this tremendous battle continues between Bobby Isaac and A.J. Foyt. They've been moving back and forth, and they have a lot of racing left. Isaac right now is in the number 1 position, with Foyt running second. Jimmy Pardue in car number 54 is third, but let's see, we may have a change in first. There's A.J. Foyt passing Isaac. We'd like to explain this drafting procedure again. As Foyt moves down the straightaway behind Isaac, Isaac is creating a vacuum behind his car because of the air he's displacing, and that gives Foyt a boost, and he passes Isaac. That's what happened there, and it becomes very important at Daytona in a race like this because it will depend on which man can outmaneuver the other as they get closer to the finish. Isaac back in first place with Paul Goldsmith and Buck Baker having a similar battle for 4th and 5th positions. Jimmy Pardue in car number 54 is running 3rd, but he's about a half lap behind. So Foyt and Isaac are sizing each other up right now as they move closer and closer to the finish. They would like to know what the other guy is going to do and be able to set him up. Foyt is drafting Isaac right now, but he has to make his move earlier on the straightaway so that he can be past Isaac before he gets into the turn. Foyt trying the high groove, and Goldsmith is moving in there. Goldsmith is in car number 41, but remember, he is a lap behind. So at the moment, it's Bobby Isaac in first place with A.J. Foyt running second, and we still have many laps to go, and we'll be back with more of the Daytona 400 stock car race. As we near the final stages of the famous Daytona Firecracker 400 stock car race, the big story this afternoon was Richard Petty for 103 laps as he had things pretty much his own way. The real battle then was for positions 2 through 7. But Petty went out at 103 laps and the complexion changed immediately. Right now we have a struggle going on that has been going on for many, many laps between car number 26, Bobby Isaac, car number 47, A.J. Foyt. And there you see them. They're just that far apart. Just that much distance separates first and second as they battle for prize money in excess of $12,000. And the next 2 cars are racing for 4th and 5th. Number 41 being driven by Paul Goldsmith, and number 3 being driven by Buck Baker. In 3rd place, about a half lap behind, is Jimmy Pardue in number 54. We have the clock on the leader, Bobby Isaac. Right now, the average speed is just slightly below last year's record, but they've been running so fast that we're sure that if they continue to run at these speeds, they'll build that average up so that we'll have a new record. Number 26, Bobby Isaac, is being timed at the moment as they move down the backstretch. And here's Foyt getting a draft and moving on the inside. And he's passing Isaac. But we'll continue to time Isaac, although he's the 2nd place car right now. We were timing the leader at the start of this lap. He's now running 2nd. And behind them you can see Goldsmith on the outside and Buck Baker on the inside. Moving down, and 53 seconds, 169.8 miles an hour, and he lost the lead. Now here's Chris Economaki talking to A.J. Foyt before the race.
A.J., you're a 2-time Indianapolis winner. Stock car racing on a high bank track is a lot different. Do you approach this any differently than you do the Indianapolis Speedway?
Well, yes, drafting here plays a big part. It also plays a part in Indianapolis, but I don't think it plays the part in Indianapolis like it does here because drafting is a big factor here.
Keep that in mind. Drafting is very, very important at Daytona, and it has put A.J. Foyt into the lead in number 47 with Isaac 2nd and number 26. There you can see A.J. Foyt leading Bobby Isaac, their teammates running for the same car owner. Chris, do you have any information on them?
Well, a little bit of interesting information, Charlie, as far as money's concerned. The 107th lap in this race carried a $500 prize to lead it. Isaac was leading at 106 and stopped, thereby giving the 107th lap and the $500 to Foyt, who made over $150,000 last year. They sort of were chuckling about it down in the pit.
It's getting to the point where the driver almost has to carry a computer to keep track of what he should do.
That looks like it.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Certainly a great race here at Daytona. Some other top sports attractions are coming up on ABC's Wide World of Sports this summer, including the Grand Prix of Europe, Cheyenne Frontier Days Rodeo, Little League Baseball World Series, and the Hamiltonian Trotting Championship. Watch for them. Right now, we're going to watch for that lead at Daytona as it changes very frequently, sometimes a couple of times in a lap. Right now it's Bobby Isaac, number 26, the leader, with A.J. Foyt, the 2-time Indianapolis winner, who normally runs on the USAC trail, driving in this NASCAR event, trying to take home honors. A USAC driver has never won a stock car race here at Daytona Beach, although Foyt did win a sports car race here. We're moving now toward the final laps of the race and they should be dandies as Isaac and Foyt continue their battle. And we'll be back with that climax from the Daytona 400. Just a few laps left of the Daytona 400 stock car race, and we have the time clock on the leader, A.J. Foyt, in car number 47, a 1964 Dodge. Bobby Isaac in another Dodge is running second. And they have been running almost 170 miles an hour, and that average is zoomed back up to something in excess of 151 miles an hour. And that will be fast enough to break last year's record. As they move down toward the starting line, you'll be able to watch the clock and see the timing for yourself. 53 and 7/10 seconds. That's a speed of better than 167 miles an hour for A.J. Foyt after 400 miles of running. He started in 19th position, now running first, being followed by Bobby Isaac. Also keep your eyes on two other drivers. Car number 41, Paul Goldsmith, and car number 3, Buck Baker. They're racing for 4th and 5th. Here's Isaac moving by on the inside. Just a few laps to go, and Isaac has taken over first place. Isaac, a veteran of the NASCAR circuit. Foyt, a 2-time Indianapolis winner and 3-time national USAC champion, trying for the first USAC victory in a stock car race on the Daytona Speedway. Isaac leading Foyt. Baker is now leading Goldsmith in the battle for 4th. Coming down to the starting line, here's Goldsmith moving up out on the outside. Foyt might be waiting for that last lap to try a next pass, but Goldsmith is moving in between Foyt and Isaac. This could change Foyt's plans somewhat. Now Goldsmith high to the outside. He's trying to get cars between his position and Baker's so that he can hold on to that 4th spot. Well, this certainly has been a tremendous race, and we want to thank Bill France Sr. and Bill France Jr. and the NASCAR officials for their tremendous cooperation. And of course, this race has the fans very, very excited. They're standing and cheering every time these cars come by the starting line. As we near the finish of this 400-mile stock car race, run at an average speed of almost 151 miles an hour. Moving up to pass a slower car. The white flag is out. 1 lap to go. The leader is still Bobby Isaac. Well, if Foyt's going to make a move, it's going to have to be soon. And Paul Goldsmith up there in 4th position is between Foyt and Isaac, and this will complicate Foyt's problem. Foyt will probably try to get a draft down that back stretch. Let's see if he can do it. And Buck Baker will try to make the same maneuver. Bobby Isaac, the leader. Here's Foyt moving to the inside. Can he make it? He's even. He's ahead. Foyt is the leader. Just a few feet ahead of Bobby Isaac. Paul Goldsmith high to the outside in a fight for 4th. Now let's see if Isaac can move out and pass Foyt as they come for the finish line. This is going to be an almost photo finish. Coming down for the last lap. Isaac to the outside, pulling up alongside Foyt. They're coming to the finish line. And the race is over, and Foyt is the winner. The checkered flag out for A.J. Foyt, the winner ahead of Bobby Isaac by just 4 feet. And Paul Goldsmith and Buck Baker were in a photo finish for 4th and 5th. Jimmy Pardue in car number 54 followed in 3rd, and what a race this has been, with A.J. Foyt scoring the first victory for a USAC driver. And there is the final finish, with Foyt the winner in 47, Isaac second in 26, Pardue 3rd in 54. And we believe Buck Baker got in there in 4th in number 3 as he just passed Goldsmith at the finish line. Now let's go down to the winner's circle.
Well, here he is, folks, up top, A.J. Get a look at you. Our winner today in a photo fantastic finish. Where did you find the speed on the last lap, A.J.?
Well, actually, Paul and Bobby Isaac there was drafting each other, and that's one reason I did let him get back to lead, because I didn't want to try to lead till the last lap, because it was just a draft that pulled me on through.
Well, how about late in the race you're going high in the number 3 and 4 corners, and it cost you some ground. Did you have some car trouble?
No, I didn't.
Here's the second place man, Bobby Isaac. What a fabulous race you fellas put on. Did the cool suit help, Bobby?
Yes, I didn't sweat a drop all day.
How about those last few laps?
Well, I wasn't counting the last few. They was pretty exciting, so.
Did you fellas ever make contact?
No, but we almost did down the backstretch. I run him down in the infield trying to get him not to get by me.
Well, like I said, Chris, the only thing that really helped me was the draft that I caught off of him, and Bobby was trying to do the same thing. We almost come to a complete stop up in the corner.
Well, you know, here's a great comparison here. AJ, you're soaking wet, and Bobby, you've got the cool suit on, your suit is dry, and you don't have a bead of sweat on you. You must feel not refreshed, but not too fatigued, eh?
I feel real good.
How about you? How do you feel? Are you pretty exhausted, AJ?
Well, I think Bobby cheated a little bit. He got the air conditioning, I didn't.
AJ, this is the first time that a USAC driver has come into NASCAR territory and won a big race. What do you think about the relative merits of NASCAR drivers and USAC drivers?
Well, like I've always said, Chris, you take Bobby right here, or I've run against many guys, and I think that he's probably one of the greatest drivers I ever raced against. He's fair and square. We run inches apart. He give me room when I need it, and also I give him room when he needed it. So
a modest winner, A.J. Foyt.
Well, thank you, Chris and A.J., and we have the time report. The average speed was 151.451 miles per hour, and that's a new record, breaking the old record set by the late Fireball Roberts. Foyt was followed across the line by Bobby Isaac, Jimmy Pardue, Buck Baker, and Paul Goldsmith. And now the 6th Firecracker 400 is history, and our congratulations to A.J. Foyt, the winner. The executive producer of ABC's Wide World of Sports is Roone Arledge. The British Open was produced by Chuck Howard. Daytona 400 produced by Dick Kirshner, directed by Lou Volpicelli. Remember, next week, Wide World of Sports will present the Irish Derby, the Grand Prix of France, and the Gold Cup hydroplane race. The preceding program was videotaped in Daytona Beach, Florida.